What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, on the fanliest of Fridays, it is a Fan Friday. Can't wait to jump into things. And, of course, there's some extra special shout-outs to do tonight. Even more so than usual. But first, we got to start with the people helping to make MCF happen here on the daily and the nightly. Like your sponsor of the week and membership gifting king, Skeptical Fan.
Yes, much love to Skeptical. The man staying skeptical here. A big winner in our raffle, right, on the star level membership. Yeah, let me open it up so you can see him. Here at the bottom of the page, sponsor of the week. Much love to the man, Skeptical Fan. But he's not just there, baby.
Of course, he's representing. I just said it as a membership gifting king.
Right up there. You see it right above. He's the king. 10 dropped memberships for the family. But this week, he's already dropped 7 in first place over Bobby Bottles there. You can see with 1 in second place. Much love to Skeptical Fan. Woo. Running the boards. And hey, he's not done there because he's also all over the overall board as well. We'll discuss that in a minute. But first, Stanley Smith. Appreciate him. He is the Cash App King.
Yes, he is.
Back to back. Like our 90s Cowboys, 3 times in the last 5 weeks. Much love to Stanley Smith, who's representing it there multiple times in recent days here. The leader, and again, I have to double check this. I'm pretty sure this is correct. This is tough, guys, because there was a lot of changes here overnight, believe it or not. But the leader is still, by a little bit, Jason Renfro.
Woo! Thank you, Jason.
Yes, much love to Jason Renfro, who, by the way, pre-stream drop of love here, $1.64 in the Cash App with a Go Cowboys. Appreciate you, Jason Renfro, as he takes, keeps the lead. But I will say there's other drops that went down, baby, like Gloria.
Woo.
Gloria dropped a 15 and a 10 for some after party shots. And she's currently sitting right behind Jason Renfro and a couple others there with Snug X on that side of the board. So much love to Gloria. She's still a little behind Jason Renfro, who is still currently in first place. And you see Stanley Smith's name up there. He's there for a reason because he dropped lucky number 13. Michael Gallup, $13 holler in the Cash App pre-stream. Appreciate him as, hey, maybe it's still possible for that three-peat. A little behind, but not that far on Jason Renfro, who's currently leading. So appreciate you guys. Also, big shout out to Big D, who dropped a $10 thanks button with the thanks button there for one of our previous videos. Appreciate him. He said, "Go Cowboys." Big shout out to David Lara, Big D. Appreciate you. And again, also on the board in the running on all these things. I think I updated most of these things on the board. Actually, I think I didn't. I have to update that. So while you do some shout outs in a minute, I'm going to update the overall board because all these things flew in here kind of under the last couple.
Yeah, guys, we have some family in town, so we are. You know.
So a little bit of a different, a little quicker, a little later stream or quicker stream. We got to kind of plan it around with the families at. So either way, guys, a lot of people in the running right now, and it is. There's a lot of ways to drop the love here, right? There's super chats easy right through YouTube here, but there's also you can jump in the membership in different levels. Fan Friday, one of the perks is the silver level gets shout out today. We got the navy blue silver starring over everything. If you're in the membership at any level, you can also gift memberships to others, which is a great way of gifting. That's why you got the gifting king up there. So appreciate those that do that, and of course the thanks button. Big D just dropped a $10 holla overnight there, so appreciate him. And he also is showing love through all. We just showed you a lot of different ways to drop the love, but there's 4 ways in the Cash App side where you can really also represent another that kingdom, so to speak.
Well, you have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, that Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
And just an example of what you're talking about right there. Yesterday, by the way, Gloria dropped in the PayPal. That counts in here. And we had somebody drop in Venmo and someone, in the past, people drop in even in Zelle and other ways. But you see the Streamlabs way, there's the Cash App way. And speaking of Cash App, the king has spoken. Stanley Smith dropping a $10 holler right now and a Go Cowboys. Adding to that total right now, I think he's like third. No, he's right now fourth behind Snug and Gloria and Jason Renfro for the top of the board right there. Big D also in the mix. So much love to Stanley Smith with a $10 holler. And he's trying to go with that three-peat. He's about what? Maybe, I'm just trying to make the quick math in my mind here. Like 15 back, just to be safe, on Jason Renfro. So he's in striking distance for that three-peat. So there you go. Now, I think I hit everybody up for all the shout-outs from the drops and all the love. Man, guys, cannot do this without your guys' love and support, so trust me on that. But a little shout-out back to those on Fan Friday, which we do shout-out. Not just every day we do the star level and the over everything crew, but today we do the silver as well. So, baby, without further ado, let's shout out the silver, the star, and the over everything levels.
Of course, we have Bobby Bottles, Mr. A. Lavelle.
Yes, 41 months, by the way. All-time record there.
That's right. Prince Jackson, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, Mary Alvarez, Skeptical Fan, The Lunatic, Marissa Sparkle, Andy Potched, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, and over everything.
Yeah.
Seabass.
I wanted to say something as well, baby. I don't think you knew about this. But Seabass, he was sparring, and he got kicked in the ear, and he lost hearing in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's going to have to delay, I think, a little bit. He talked about this last night, but I think you're already off stream. But he talked about it last night, that he said that he's going to, still come on, but it'd just be a little later.
No, of course, not a problem. You focus on,
Exactly.
healing up.
Exactly. And that's what I told him yesterday. And, he's ready, though. He's ready to come back on as soon as he can. So appreciate him. And also, please get better. Let us know how the doctor results came back.
Yes.
It's supposed to go today. So, anyways, now we got all the formalities done, all the shout-outs done on a Fan Friday, baby. We got to talk about our Cowboys. We got some matchups that we must win. At least win most of the matches. Win every matchup. We got to win most of these matches. If we do, we win this game. It's going to be tough. And we're going to discuss tonight on My Cowboys Family. But first, let's discuss who's in the house. Ready to talk about these things of our Cowboys, the news, info updates, injury updates, all that good stuff. Who's here to discuss it with us?
We have Fuego bringing the heat.
Yeah.
Justin D in the place to be. Retro Scotty, what's up? Much love. Of course, Stephen White, hello and hi.
Yeah.
Bruce got the Toxic Juice representing. Eric Wallace, what's up? Chandler King in the house. Yeah, of course, we're going to discuss some of the injury updates.
For sure.
Some good, some bad. Of course, as always, right? Mike Aldana, yeah. Tyron Smith is kind of an accident waiting to happen, but remember, we just prevented that accident from happening. Like, we managed to keep him healthy pretty much since he was able to come back.
Let's just call it 7 weeks straight. And
right?
you know what that means?
When was the last time he did that?
I mean,
It's been like
starting
3-4
the season
years.
maybe, but yeah, he hasn't really lasted more than... He would have probably lasted 2 or 3 games if he had just not managed them properly.
Exactly. So just really nice to see, right? We also got Big D in the house as well.
Yeah.
What's up?
Much love to him. Again, I want to re-thank him for the thanks that he dropped earlier. I got you on the board, man. Again, I'm going to actually fix the board. Was you probably open with all the with a couple questions as well as a shot.
No, of course we have Alonda Hanslu representing her own team. Right, Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Jason Renfro, much love to you. We got Freedom First, not first today. Want to say, man, you're slow on the trigger now.
I should have really shouted out. I didn't shout out Zach Luna, which how dare I? 8 points, I think, if I'm not mistaken. An Aikman 8 right now, hanging on to that stream boss. But more importantly, he's first place on the overall board. I gotta stress that immediately. So again, much love to him doing his thing here with us on My Cowboys.
So Rolando Rodriguez, what's up? Much love. Bobby Garrett in the house. And remember, Zach Martin was trending upwards positively. So we're thankfully not as much of a concern as Tyron Smith.
We'll discuss it.
So. What's up, GM in the house? What's up? And remember, guys, we're gonna go over all the injury stuff, for both teams. We promise.
Yeah, we got you because there's a lot of questions on their side as well.
So
Literally.
hopefully everybody has all their holiday things ready to go. Right? We're doing some final
last second
shopping. Yeah,
shopping,
unfortunately,
Christmas
I
shopping.
will say the shipping departments this year did
slowed
not come
down.
through. So doesn't do us any good if it's showing up after Christmas. So.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we drinking on? Just some water for now. There's no consumption just yet. Although I did have some soju earlier when we had food, my sister and I. So
yeah, sister-in-law is in town, and MCW, the wife's sister, is here and hanging, and it's a fun time here during the holidays. It's great to have the family, around and in the house and hanging out, and my grandma, MCF grandma, is going to be over here on Christmas Day. It's going to be a jolly day there. So, hey, looking forward to it on our side. Hope you guys are doing the same. And just a little, like it's not really a warning, but just like we may have an interesting stream tomorrow when it comes to our Cowboys and how we're going to do Christmas Eve and Sunday's Christmas Eve. Yeah, the eve of Christmas Eve. But we'll find a way to get it done, guys, with family in town. And, of course, game day is on Christmas Eve. That is our stream that night. So it will be for this game against the Dolphins. Now, should I get started? Do we have any quick...
let's go.
All right, so listen, NFL news. Salary cap potential values. Really a quick overview. There's a lot of things still to figure out when it comes to salary cap in 2024. But again, when you look at restructures and cuts that are upcoming, the ones in best position right now, the Colts, the Washington Commanders, and the New England Patriots. In the top overall situations, the worst situations, the Saints, the Bills, and the Cowboys.
Oh, of course.
A lot of that has to do with, of course, Dak Prescott's like $59 million cap hit next year. It has to do with things like CeeDee Lamb's contract, Micah Parsons' contract being able to be, extended. There's a lot of things in there that the Cowboys, have to kind of get ready to foot the bill for. But in the end, it actually will open up more space if we sign these guys going forward. Opens up more space now, throws money down in the future to restructure and figure out, so avoidable contract years and that kind of stuff. Cowboys are fine. Trust me, the salary caps will keep growing, but we're just not in the best situation right now. That we knew already. It was obvious. Now, what about coaching, right? Because, we know that Belichick might, is looking like he's going to get fired or they're going to part ways with New England there at the end of the year. But he had a complaint against the Kansas City game this last week. You know what his complaint was? That in the first half, the kicking balls, the balls you kick off with or kick field goals with, extra points with, were underinflated.
We starting this complaint again?
Well, it was the other way around, baby. They were the ones deflating the ball.
True.
Oh, now it's happening to them. So, again, the NFL declined comment. Kansas City's Harrison Butker, their kicker, says the field goal miss for him was a result of a technique. But he did note that there was a difference with the footballs in the second half. So there was some kind of underinflated football usage in that first half, and it seemed like it was more... the refs, let's say, in the NFL than it was the Patriots cheating again. Belichick claimed that, and I guess he was right. He would know, wouldn't he?
He certainly would.
The Seahawks. Remember, I don't know if you guys, of course, we remember what happened with the Eagles guy that got kicked out, the security guy, and now he's banned for the games as far as being on the field. The Eagles are putting him up in the box. Keep putting him up in the box, guys. That's good because they keep losing. But
what's in the box?
It's that security guy from the Eagles. But now that is it going to be another guy in the box in a sense? Well, because the Seahawks had a similar issue against the Eagles. It's funny the Niners got the Eagles and Niners got in a little fracas there on the sideline. Same thing happened in Seattle. DK Metcalf was I'm sorry, not DK Metcalf, AJ. It was AJ Smith, right? He was coming off like getting a catch on the Seattle sideline and got bumped by a guy in a shirt that said staff member or staffer.
Yeah.
And he got in his face. They both got in each other's face for a second, but the staffer guy was kind of smiling and smirking. And then that was it. And it never really was thought about it again. But because that thing just happened with the security guy, it was kind of looked upon by the NFL. He's actually a practice squad offensive lineman.
Oh.
Yeah. His name is Joey Hunt. Who Joe Buck, the announcer for that game, said that it was a Seattle staff member. That was on Monday night when he got into that little incident with A.J. Brown. He was fined today by the NFL, $1,610.
Oh, damn.
For unsportsmanlike conduct. The Seahawks, again, enjoyed the fact that Joe Buck referred to him as a staff member and made him, again, they actually made him wear a jersey to practice this week that said staffer instead of his name in the back. So, again... the league, the NFL, they prorate the standard fine for unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and this one they came up with a number of that 1,610.
So like based off of his paycheck or whatever.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's a practice squad guy.
Okay, just kind
of
making
sure. Very little money, so yeah, that's kind of what
if you're only making, let's say, 60, 70, 80K, having to pay a $1,200 fine, that hurts a lot more than if you're making. 200K, which is about like the lowest you make if you're an active member of the team. Exactly. Brendan James, congrats to you.
And big shout out.
Skeptical Fan just gifted you a membership. Huge shout out. Thank you so much, Skeptical Fan. I appreciate you sharing the love and showing the love.
Yes.
During this holiday season.
Yes, he's being Santa Claus over here, he's being Dallas Claus. Much love to you, Skeptical. Always stay skeptical. Zach Luna still with 8 points, but he's hanging on there with that Aikman 8, while Skeptical Fan is moving up this board. Still in second place. He's still, Zach Luna got a little bit of a lead, but it's shrinking. Skeptical Fan is crawling up the board. And remember, he's our sponsor of the week and the Gifting King. And he's kind of, he's first on the gifting board, and he's also second on the overall board. He's smelling maybe a little bit of that 90s Cowboys back-to-back.
Right.
Yeah, pulling from that a little bit. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But appreciate you, Skeptical, as always. The gifting membership's one of the best ways to help out the channel, the family members, that are partaking in the chats. Much love to you, Skeptical. Appreciate you. Now, continuing the NFL news, the Eagles. Let's go to the Eagles here. We like to talk about the Eagles sometimes because they're having some hard times. And, we don't mind, taking a peek that way when we know they have to kind of take at least one more L, right? The Eagles right now, is a rumor that the Eagles are starting to have, there's a quote, internal concerns about quarterback Jalen Hurts. Now, they just paid him $56 million a year, was it? 55? I don't know. He's the highest paid. I'm just saying, or one of the highest paid, 53, 52. Cowboy fans were bitching when, Dak was getting 40, and I said in 2-3 years, you guys not going to remember that number. Exactly. It's not going to be important, and I'm right. We were right. Anyways, now they're having concerns now, all of a sudden, with after, I would say a year after, or a little less than a year after coming off their Super Bowl loss, they're already thinking, do we have to trade him like we did Wentz? I don't know. So, other issues, Landon Dickerson is going to be out for a little bit of time, at least for a week or two.
Yeah.
That's their starting offensive lineman for the Eagles against the Giants this week. Another guy who's out, and more than just a week, from the Eagles, cornerback Darius Slay. Now, we did discuss the fact that he was getting a kind of a little cleanup surgery in his knee.
Yeah.
He said he's been dealing with his knee pain since 2019, and he decided to do the surgery now. He had this pain before he joined the team, back when he was with the Lions. He said it got to the point where he was around 30%, and he said, you know what, I got to get surgery. He felt he was playing at 30% level, so who knows if that's true or not, but he's getting the surgery. He said he would not give it a timeline, but he said, quote, I'm locked and loaded for the playoffs, end quote. That means they're going to have their best cover guy, Darius Slay, for the next 3 weeks. All we need is one loss. Their defense is already haggard when it comes to, coverage and pass defense. So when you look at this loss of Slay for at least 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe all 3 weeks, that's a big loss for this defense of the Eagles. And it just means that teams like Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, hey, Kyler Murray can do shit out there. Hey, let's get some of that Italiano, that little Tommy DeVito. He's got two shots at this fucking Eagle defense in the back end. So let's just get some blocking and get one. Only needs one win. We only need to beat Washington and one other team. So we got less pressure right now. We can chill right now, in a way. And I'm going to again, I think some people are still worried. No, we're going to lose. Listen, we want to win. But there's actually bigger deals going on here. And a bigger deal is if the Giants actually win. We can take an L, and the Giants win. We control our own destiny. That's what we need to have after this week. And again, if we win our game and the Eagles lose, then we have like a 75-80% chance to win the East and get that second seed. So, hey, just throwing out the importance out here, guys. Obviously, very fucking important. Darius Slay's injury, he'll be ready for the playoffs. They clinched. Will they be the 5th seed, the 2nd seed, or the 3rd seed? Well, the same seeds we're fighting for in Dallas. So, we'll see what happens. Now, one last NFL piece of news I want to say here. Fuck Philly.
Always.
Cry, Eagles, cry. Fuck them. Sing that song, Eagle fans, because we hate the Eagles. Philadelphia. But a surprise cut today, baby. At the defensive interior one-tech tackle position in the NFL. The Chargers are waiving defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day. He's a good player. We talked about him when we played the Chargers.
Yeah,
a very good run stopper.
What happened there?
He's a good run stopper. He's a Hankins style guy. He started 14 games for the Chargers this year. He would be a true potential addition. He said he wants to be an addition, but again, he would definitely help a team that maybe he's trying to vie for the playoffs. That's the Cowboys, in case you're wondering. I say this is a guy we try to go grab, but hey, I'll tell you why it might not work too easily as you think in a moment, outside of the Jerry Jones situations. Skeptical Fan dropping another $2 holler right here. What did he have to say, baby?
So Smith is out and Martin a hooker?
Well,
as in Tyron Smith,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, Tyron. Yeah, nobody's out. Nobody's out from our group right now, but pretty much one guy's not going to play. Is my call. we'll talk about it, Skepta. I promise. It'll be we literally got minutes to go before we get to that. But just I'll keep you there. You'll see what we're talking about here. I got updates for all of your guys here. Now, I do want to finish, though. It's important because we talk about a guy you didn't mention there, Jonathan Hankins, who we know is out for this game. It was actually, we do have him out. He's officially out for this game, Jonathan Hankins. But this guy, Sebastian Joseph Day, he'd be a true good addition. You know, he's got a little over $1 million left on his contract. So if we were to pick him up off waivers and make a claim for him, we'd pay him $1 million for the rest of the season. A guy that would improve that interior. That he could improve the interior in many different rotational ways.
He's like, we like our guys.
That's one of the issues, right? The Cowboy Clown Show is going to say that.
Look, the good and bad thing is that we are coming off an L. And the only reason I say that is because of the actual depth that's needed at certain positions. I do think that there's at least a bigger chance that the Cowboys might make one of those like end of season little last minute pickup type of moves. Like, the problem is that, you know, again, so far, and usually the types of moves we make, like, even $1 million might be too much for whatever the heck the Cowboys are thinking.
I personally think, if he crosses through waivers, the Cowboys might actually make a move for him. And that'd be smart. Although I know they want to work Mazy in, and we got to talk about Mazy today. But here's the thing, though, baby. He's not going to get through waivers. Okay. And we're too low on the list to kind of make a claim that's going to make it count. I think someone's going to pick him up off waivers. He will not be a free agent. If you pick him off waivers, though, $1 million for a guy that can secure your run game, your run stop defense there, in case someone goes down in the play, you want to double it up inside and get 2 run stoppers. You got Hankins and him. Yeah. There's so much there. It's not about trying to stick with your guy. It's about trying to win a fucking Super Bowl. Right? I mean, Mazy will work on him next year, right? We don't need Mazy trying to get us to the Super Bowl because he ain't going to do it. But someone like Sebastian Joseph Day or Hankins are the kind of guys that do get you to the Super Bowl. So if I was the Cowboys, I'd put a waiver claim in and hope. That's all. I'm probably not going to get him. Don't count on that. If they want to take on the rest of his contract next year at $7.5 million, which is a lot, but maybe you have a replacement for Hankins if you move on from him, although I prefer to stay with Hankins and let this guy go. But either way, another team's going to probably claim him. The rest of this year's salary is guaranteed, so the $1 million is guaranteed. But to me, with the money we already have, I know we have a tough salary cap situation. We still have like $15 million open on the cap this year. And it's going to roll over to next year, and we're going to need it. But $1 million, you fucking make that move. I'm sorry. I would make the move, but the only move you can make is make a waiver claim. Because if you don't get to you, someone else takes him, then you wouldn't have got him anyway. Probably will not. If he becomes a free agent, you would put a waiver claim in for him. Then you make a move for him, and you could probably, on a 1-year deal, you probably can get like $750.
Exactly.
Minimum, and you probably get him for $1 million anyways, and he won't be guaranteed. So look, it doesn't matter. We could make a move from if we really wanted to. Alanda Hanslu back in the house. She dropped a couple last night. She dropped a little more, and she's coming up this board, repping the Dolphins. Unfortunately for us, but Alanda, she's not. I gotta say, she's knocked it down to 1 point. I said yesterday to the family, do not let her take over the stream boss. Do not let a Dolphin fan take over the stream boss. She left us a point, guys. She did us a favor there. Much love to Alanda. And what did she say with that $5 holler?
Is it safe to say that Philly's officially in the Cowboys' rearview mirror? Serious question.
No, it's not. No way. Because if they win all 3 games, doesn't matter. We can win all 3, and they still win the division. So they're still literally, we're in front of them at this moment, but technically we're behind them. We have to get a loss from them. The thing is, we can lose your game against the Dolphins. We can lose one of those 2, that one or the Detroit Lions. As long as we beat the Washington Commanders and win one of those other 2, we are in as the NFC East champions. Don't know if it's the second or third seed. If we lose to the Lions, we're probably third seed. But we'd still get a home game, possibly a second home game if we're a third seed. Definitely a second home game if we're the second seed and get out the wild card round.
Agreed.
So we can still go 2-1 as long as one of those teams we beat are the Washington Commanders. And the Eagles lose a game, we're the NFC champs. And that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I want. So, Alanda, good question. Retro Scotty, guess where he's at now? He's the stream boss with the takeover as we're barreling towards this game against the Dolphins. He dropped a $1 holler. I have a feeling I know what he said.
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much, Retro, and thank goodness, because he's now officially the stream boss.
Thank goodness that we got through with no with no Dolphin fan representation up there, right?
I know. I was worried there for a second.
So again, we're kind of finishing with this, but again, just wanted to finish up with saying that this interior guy would be a good pickup for the Cowboys if we can get our hands on him, even if it's at worst case $1 million and using a waiver spot. That's fine. I'll take that for a guy who can make a difference in stopping the running game, which we allow 266 yards in the fucking running game. I mean, wouldn't you pick up a guy for $1 million that can help you there?
Yeah, I think I would.
If you could, I would. And that means at least put a waiver claim in, Cowboys. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, dropping that Dak drop $4 holler.
Woo! Thank you so much. You know what he said?
I gotta know.
Officially,
let me know.
Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah, always.
You already know.
Go Cowboys. I'll update the boards. I promise. I know Alonda went up a little bit. Retro on the board. Dwayne Broussard on the board. So I'll put you guys up in a moment. But I need a little resting spot there. So, I mean, I'll do that in a minute. I don't know if there's any other comments right now.
Yeah. So,
let me know what you guys think about Sebastian Joseph Day, who I think is a stellar. He's not going to put you on the stat sheets and stuff. He's not going to get you sacked. He's going to stop the run like Hankins. Why not have a second Hankins on the team?
Yeah,
Mazy's not ready yet.
Pretty much the running joke is just, we like our guys. We like our guys.
With that, let me just put that, because that's probably what's going to happen. We probably will make a waiver claim, and then we can label this situation, this topic of this guy here, of this Sebastian Joseph Day. This could be then clown showage. That's what it would be.
Fuego throwing out there, we just need to lay off them damn penalties because those shits are killing us.
That's a major issue on this team. I agree.
Now, GM, with a kind of an interesting opinion, right? He said, I feel like we don't actually need to win. We want the wild card slot, to stay hot. But basically that, maybe we can keep our momentum going more with the wild card.
You do know that
if I'm understanding you right.
The second seed is a wild card. Not a wild card. The second. First of all, we don't need the wild card. We want the home game. That's what we want. The second seed is you still play that wild card weekend. The only seed you don't play is if you get the first seed, and the Niners have to lose 2 games, and we got to win all 3. Don't count on that. No, they might lose one against the Ravens. I know they're going to play the Rams. They're hot, but just saying, like right now, I don't think so. And again, I'm going to talk. Actually, the next time we'll talk about some matchups here where the playoff teams are kind of ranking and seeding. The one team a lot of people saying you don't want to play are the Rams. They're heating up right now. We watched the Cowboys beat the living shit out of the Rams live and in person. They definitely seem to be hitting their stride right now. But I don't care. We're at home. We should beat anyone, including the Niners. So that's why home is more important. If we get that bye week, that's even more important. Don't need any streak. Right now, our streak is we just lost the game. We don't have a streak going on right now. It's a negative streak. So I think we need to get as many benefits as possible. Number one, home field advantage. We can't get the number 1 seed, at least get the number 2 seed. And the only game you play on the road is if we win our 2 games and the Niners win their 1, then we got to go to the Niners.
Exactly.
If the Niners falter, we got a home game to go to the Super Bowl. So a lot of positives in that second seed. That's what I want at the very least from this season right now. That'll give us the best chance to win outside of sneaking away with that first seed over the Niners.
Exactly. Now, Jeff Coughlin said the first round will be easy. I'm worried about the second round.
Again, if we got a second seed, we're good. If we're the second seed, we'll be fine. If we're the third seed, that means we're playing at Detroit. That's what that means.
Yeah, that's when it gets a little more.
Yeah, I'd rather be the second seed and play Detroit and Dallas. You know what I mean? It's just fucking simple, right? We just played them in the Ring of Honor game a couple weeks earlier, so that's our choices there if we get in that situation. Of course, if the Lions lose, we're the third seed, and the fourth seed or the fifth seed will be the Philadelphia Eagles in Dallas, or it'll be the Falcons or something, or the Saints in Dallas. So it's in Dallas. Those are the key words. That's what matters for the Cowboys. So we get Sebastian Joseph Day. That would help us get us at least maybe a better chance to get that second seed.
A little bit, right? Bobby Garrett, I really hope they lose at least to one of them, right? Ravens or the Rams. That would be very, very, very helpful.
Well, again, they have to lose 2 of them. So hopefully they lose both of them and we win 3. And the Eagles lose 1. We're in first. We got the first seed. We get the bye.
So, and Brandon James, we saw that there about Mason Crosby.
Yeah, he's actually going to play this week. They signed him last week. This week he's going to actually be on the active roster and kick for them. But he ain't a Cowboy. By the way, I just had to put up there, Alonda has jumped over the great Marco Seppian.
Oh, there we go.
Into 5th place, the top 5 board there for Alonda. As I added, I'm adding everybody up here to the board, baby. I'm sorry.
No, of course.
Another minute or 2 and we're good to go.
You're good. So, by the way, the over-under, right? GM said, I want 88, any touchdown, over 100-plus yards, and 5 catches. So, do you think that sounds somewhat realistic, maybe?
I'm going to say it. I think I think it's not about a player this time. I don't think it's about a player. It's about a position on the field. I'll discuss it tonight. Don't make me jump the gun
So maybe
here.
not CD specifically. Maybe just whoever is playing here.
Yeah, in a certain spot. I'll tell you what. It rhymes with spot. How about that?
Let's see who can figure it out first, right? Anyway, kind of rolling a little bit more here. We're beating the brakes out of the Lions. Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about the fact that even though the Dolphins are the team that we have to beat most from like not just a game schedule type of situation, but like I don't know, like an earning it type of situation.
Well, remember, the comparison
Lions game is technically the more important of the two. So, and we have to be real, the Lions are a little weaker looking than the Dolphins. So
it depends which day you play them. I think that though they both have weaknesses, but I do agree with you that I think the Dolphins a little bit stronger than the Lions are. We'll see what happens. I mean, we're playing the Lions in Dallas, and we're in Miami, which we're not great on the road. So already, you know that this is the tougher game, the Dolphin game. Just looking at that.
Yeah. So anyway, back to you, baby.
Perfect.
If you're ready.
Yeah, got it. Everyone updated. I think everyone's updated pretty much on this board. And again, appreciate all of you who've been rocking it with us here from the start. Now, let's talk about playoffs. Playoffs? Now the Rams are officially 8-7 after their win yesterday. And I never really talked about it much, but they did sneak. Again, they were up 30-7, and they won 30-22. They almost let the Saints come back on them. But the Rams are now 8-7. So does that mean the Cowboys have beat a team with another team with a winning record?
I mean, technically, right?
I'm just saying, people say we don't beat teams with winning records. Now we beat the Rams and the Eagles with winning records. They were just saying we only beat one. Now we beat two. Does that change in the standings? Why do they keep saying we only beat one team now? Like, even the basic stats can't even be, even the basic shit. The narrative has to be still dictated by moving the goalposts.
I know, but even I have to admit that saying stuff like that does make you sound like you're nitpicking.
I'm just saying, I'm not the one nitpicking. This is what others say, that we don't play good teams. Are the Rams now an over 500 team?
I mean, yeah, they are.
We played some of these teams. We played them when they were over 500. Now they're not, and they say we didn't play it. We didn't beat a. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go. It has to go both ways, right? You just can't. It has to go both ways. So, anyways, the 8-7 Rams now. Take an L to the Cowboys. That's a winning record team right there. But here's the more important thing: the Rams enter the weekend now officially as the number 6 seed. Of course, other teams got to play, but they jumped over the Minnesota Vikings, which would be if we were in the 2nd seed, we'd play Minnesota in Dallas. I would take that any day of the week. But a lot of people saying, before this it was the Rams going to Dallas. So that's if Minnesota wins another game, the Rams go to Dallas. If this is the way it ends, with now only it would be only 2 weeks to go. So, I'm not really caring who we play in home, because I think we could beat anybody in Dallas. That's the thing. But the Rams are the tougher team, it seems like right now. They're heating up a little bit more. A long way to go, guys, in these last 3 weeks of the season. So keep that in mind. Now, we had Jerry Jones speak today. He spoke about a couple of things. And not crazy information here. Just a couple quick little topics that I thought were interesting that he, that are notable here, what he said today in his usual, Tuesday for sure, but also does it on Thursdays or Fridays. And he just called the Miami Dolphin game that we got coming up. You know what he called it?
What?
A nut cutter.
Okay.
Yeah. And he also said that was a Christmas term. Nut cutter. I don't know about that, but...
Did he mean nutcracker?
I
Do you think he meant nutcracker, guys?
I
gotta
assume he did, but he said nut cutter, and he reiterated that it was a Christmas term. Kind of like, DeMarcus Lawrence being in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think he meant nutcracker.
And Jerry Jones just getting inducted in 1923.
I don't know what you're doing at your house for the holidays or Christmas time. I'm not cutting any nuts. Just saying.
Damn right you're not.
Open, chestnuts roasting on an open fire, I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
We just, a little humor moment here.
Sorry,
we talk about the Jerry
Jones
things.
That was funny.
So he also spoke about the Miami game, and he said facing Josh Allen last week and Tua this week in back-to-back weeks is putting the Cowboys against two of the, quote, best handful of quarterbacks in the NFL. So, that's true. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones also then talked about Micah Parsons. The whole discussion of going to linebacker. What's Jerry Jones overrules McCarthy and Quinn, right? So Jerry Jones said this when he was asked about moving Micah around at linebacker. He said, basically he didn't have much interest in getting him more work at linebacker. Jerry Jones said, quote, his greatest attribute to our team is as a pressure player.
I mean, I think he's just reiterating what our coaches already knew. Let's be real.
But from the beginning, Jerry Jones, even before he knew what Dan Quinn was going to do, kind of said he's going to be like a pressure player. That was his term. He used this since his rookie year. So it's something that's kind of Jerry Jones-ism as well, mixed in. So Jerry said that, Micah's greatest value is an edge rusher, quote-unquote, pressure player, impactful player in that way. So for those that are on that bandwagon, I don't think that is the right way. I think we could use him a little bit more at linebacker here and there, but I'm talking about not as much as other people are saying, other content creators and other people pushing this narrative that it's the house is burning down because Micah's not playing people. I've heard people refer to a game that we struggled with Micah in the game playing the edge. We had a bad game against the Packers last year in the run. That's the game he played 90% of the snaps at linebacker. Case closed. Anyways, if you talk about coverage, Micah can help you a lot more there. But the downgrade you get from moving Micah out of edge and whoever replaces him, I don't care who it is, no one. That downgrade is much worse than the slight upgrade you get at linebacker from Micah. I'm just saying. The way our guys have been playing, it's not been much of a problem. It's not about them trying to overpower offensive linemen. It's about having Hankins there, to not letting them get in the second level enough to overpower our linebackers. It's simple as that. And who else is having trouble when Hankins wasn't there? LVE, Micah Parsons, when they were playing linebacker. So that's not the issue. The issue is Jonathan Hankins not being there. That's the issue. We need them to help all of our linebackers. Doesn't matter what their name is. Now, the final thing Jerry Jones spoke about, and it wasn't just Jerry, it was Jerry, Mike McCarthy, Stephen Jones. And let me give you in this order, baby, because it actually started this morning. This morning on 105.3 The Fan, before McCarthy's usual press conference, he always has a discussion there with the media, with the channel, the radio channel. Remember, guys, Zach Martin left Sunday's game in Buffalo with that quad injury, that thigh bruise. Left tackle Tyron Smith suffered a back injury during the game, but played through it. They both had not practiced the entire time this week. Yeah. And then Mike McCarthy was asked this morning, early morning, about Tyron Smith's back and Zach Martin's quad for the game against the Dolphins. On 105.3 The Fan, he said, quote, I would say Zach is ahead of Tyron right now. And again,
no surprise there considering the nature of their injuries.
I mean, but not only that, it's not a surprise because we literally said this from my side here, from myself, my researching and all that. Mm-hmm. That's what I said. I said the indication is Mike McCarthy is kind of implying that Zach Martin is ahead of Tyron Smith. So him saying that today is
confirms what we already kind of...
No new info. He did say, though, just confirming something new. He spoke about something more. He said Chuma Edoga is the expected replacement at left tackle.
Okay.
It's not going to move in Tyler Smith. We're going to move Chuma Edoga in there if Tyron Smith's not available. Now, that was this morning. And then later in the morning, you had Jerry Jones speak about the Zach Martin, Tyron Smith situation. Will it be available? Jerry Jones said, quote, he said, quote, I don't know right now, end quote. But again, going back to what McCarthy said, the latest thing was Zach Martin's in front of Tyron Smith. So that's basically, to me, that's what Jerry Jones is saying. Stephen Jones, later in the afternoon, he said, quote, feeling really good about Zach Martin's chances of playing on Sunday at Miami. At this point, I would say Tyron Smith is still a question mark.
Okay.
But certainly not ruled out. Okay. Well, let's see what happened, guys, because when it comes to practice and who was out in that field, when you've seen the guys running up out there, the same guys are missing that we always talk about here. Number 77, number 70, guys. Zach Martin, he was actually out there on the field, Zach Martin, with the quad, but of course, just doing the walkthrough part. It's just the walkthrough. Tyron Smith with the back issue was not on the field.
Okay.
So let me rephrase that. McCarthy said, of course, that, the answer we're looking for, and this is what McCarthy said about these guys, today's practice and Saturday's practice will, quote, give us the answers we're looking for. And he said, quote, things look good for this weekend when it comes to Zach Martin. That's what Zach Martin actually said.
Yeah.
On Thursday. Now, if Tyron Smith is out, McCarthy said Chuma Edoga will be the likely starter. Chuma Edoga bounced between left tackle and left guard earlier this season. McCarthy said, quote, I think now that he's been available to settle in at the tackle position, we're better prepared for this. So Edoga going in for Tyron Smith, the Cowboys feel much more confident now than they did at the beginning of the season, having Edoga coming in for Tyron Smith when he missed the first couple of weeks. McCarthy also believes Edoga has done a great job in improving and kind of more, he improved more in the recent weeks because of the focus from the coaching staff has been to put him at left tackle. So he played, again, both in the beginning, settled in now at tackle. Good sign for a replacement for Tyron Smith if it has to happen this week. Unfortunately, this Dolphin defense is really good. Now, McCarthy also said one last thing. I guess I'll get it back here. McCarthy also said one last thing about one last injury, which is a major one. And Skeptical Fan mentioned him earlier, Malik Hooker. Mm-hmm. Malik Hooker went through the walkthrough today with his ankle injury, and McCarthy spoke about it. He said, quote, the plan is to see how much he does tomorrow on Saturday and then make an official decision, but he's definitely doing much better.
Okay, so
Malik Hooker,
so at least straight from McCarthy.
Yeah, may be available.
That would be honestly
a huge help.
Bigger than the current O-line situation, just because, again, like you said, Zach Martin very likely to play. Tyron Smith seems a lot less likely to play.
But Edoga's the confident in him.
Yeah.
Now, when you're looking at the players again, after practice, you're seeing the actual injury report, the official last word, so to speak. And when you look at both these guys, as McCarthy's peeking over the top, let me put McCarthy back in the coaching booth. Boom. So when you look at both these guys, what was the deal, guys? The final injury report, Tyron Smith listed as doubtful. And just so you guys know, when the players listed, Cowboys haven't had a player listed as doubtful this year playing the game. I think only one guy has done it, Max Crosby. I think the only guy in the entire NFL that was listed as doubtful and then played on game day. So it would be a miracle, basically, if Tyron Smith is in this game. So,
like we said, very, very unlikely.
Not ruled out, like Stephen Jones said, but definitely very unlikely. I say a 99% chance Tyron Smith is not playing, which tells us that's why they're talking about Chuma Edoga a lot more today. Because Chuma is going to be the starter, and they feel much more comfortable with him there. He's prepared to start for...
Yeah, and he already has. That's the bigger point. You know?
He's already had some of this at the beginning of the year. You got to remember, guys, he's now preparing to start for the Cowboys at left tackle, who we've had a 7 straight week streak with the same offensive line combination, which is going to end now in Miami. So, again, Edoga has been really solid. I got to admit, he's been very solid. But now with Bradley Chubb, who's going to go up against Terrence Steele and guys like Chuma Edoga, we're at a little more disadvantage, in my opinion. When you have both these guys trying to defend number 2 on this Miami defense who's going to wreck shit, now he's got 2, I would say, subpar tackles to pick from. He can go either side now. So we'll see. Terrence Steele needs to play like he did last year. Chuma Edoga needs to have a really great game this week here. So that's one injury, Tyron Smith. What about the other injury, Zach Martin? Zach Martin today was limited in practice, which we saw him out there in the walkthrough. Questionable for the game, but guys, good news. All signs point to Zach Martin playing. So Tyron Smith, he's out. Chuma Edoga is going to get in there. He's doubtful, I should say,
yeah.
Tyron, but Zach Martin is questionable. He's going to be in there. He's going to play, in my opinion. So that's the outlook there on the offensive line. Now, another guy I want to bring up for a quick moment. This guy, Big Hank, Jonathan Hankins, who we know, is gonna. He didn't practice all week. Was gonna be really pressed to play this week, and we got the official word. He is ruled out for this game. So Mazy Smith now is gonna take over at that role. Chuma Edoga on one side of the trench. On the other side of the trenches, we got rookie Mazy Smith got to take over for Big Hank, Jonathan Hankins, which was expected. I think that's a much more expected injury. The last guy is Malik Hooker. That's a real question there. And Malik Hooker, guys, with the ankle, was limited in practice yesterday. Limited again today in practice. He was in the hitting practice yesterday. And Malik Hooker is listed as questionable for the game. But as we all know, 100% on track to play. So great news there. You're going to have, unfortunately, you're going to be missing Tyron Smith. Chuma takes his spot. And unfortunately, it looks like you're going to probably be, without, you're definitely without Jonathan Hankins when Mazy Smith takes over. So those two guys, we got to replace. But Zach Martin looks like he has a really good chance to play. And in a very important single high safety to help the Dan Quinn defense be more of the way we usually do look. And it's really good when we have Malik Hooker playing, single high safety defense back there, and that's why I went to a two safety high over there and got kind of ripped in the middle there by the Bills last week. So now we get Malik Hooker. Looks like he's tracking on to come back.
Yeah.
So is Zach Martin, but no Hankins and no Tyron Smith.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little more on the Asmodeus side of things, right? Just surprised that Tyron Smith made it this far. But obviously, I imagine the goal is that he's going to be available for that Lions game.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if he's
he made
doubtful,
a mention himself,
that's
right?
what I'm saying. If he's doubtful this week, that means that he's at least.
Oh, you mean? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw Hankins. I know Hankins said he'll be ready for the Detroit game. I think Tyron Smith's being saved for that as well.
Exactly.
In a way. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If he's kind of a little bit more on the bubble, but leaning more towards no, I think the Cowboys would rather bench him, shelve him, let him rest, recuperate. We're not in a position now where we have to kind of force him out there. And if we are keeping the playoffs in mind, I imagine McCarthy's trying to make sure that he's going to be good to go for that.
Yeah. I think this is his last bye week.
Oh, yeah.
Last bye week for Tyron Smith when it comes to these injuries, but the practice will stay the same. So when we look at these guys, Hankins is out. Tyron Smith, he's out, right? Hankins. Tyron Smith is doubtful, but that's going to be an out, in my opinion, unless a miracle happens. Zach Martin, to me, he's trending. He's questionable. He's going to be in. Same thing with Malik Hooker, who is trending to play. He's also questionable. The only other two guys questionable are the only reason they're questionable is because they're not on the active 53. They're still on injured reserve, and we're not going to, activate them to that yet. And those two guys are Relemi Fehoko, the rookie edge rusher, with the knee, full practice for the last 2 weeks. But he's not going to play. He is questionable because he's not going to be activated. Same situation for Matt Waletzko, who also has been there 2 weeks straight playing full practice with that shoulder. Ready to come back from the injury, hopefully, but not on the 53. Will not be on the 53 this week, especially this week, even if we may need another tackle out there.
Exactly.
He's also listed as questionable in case, I guess, something changes and they decide to put him on the active roster. That's not going to happen, and that looks like the way it's going to be set for the Cowboys. The other guys on the injury list, again, Rico Dowdle, the ankle, full practice today. This is the way we've been managing him all 2 months, 3 months, 2.5 months already. He is active and fully ready to go. No game status designation. And the other running back, our starter, Tony Pollard, with the thumb, full practice all week. A little tweak on the thumb. He's good to go. Just no fumbles. So that's our entire injury report there. It's pretty much, I would say, kind of the expectation. With Hankins out and Tyron Smith, one of our linemen missing this game, Zach Martin making it, Hooker back, that's a positive. Big positive, especially a Hooker. It's going to allow a more aggressive defense overall. But the only thing we're missing is that interior, presence to stop the run. That we're still missing, so that's the bad news there. Now, for the Miami Dolphins, who, of course, as we always say, we're going to hopefully chop them up. But who's chopped up on their team right now? Head coach Mike McDaniel told reporters that he expects running back Devon Achane. Yes. Devon Achane, rookie running back with that toe injury, to play this week. He was, limited again in practice, and that means he is no game status designation. So good news for him. He will be there.
That's good.
They got their, for them, they got their quick, speedy little running back out the backfield.
Excuses, right?
Their quick, speedy running back out the backfield. He's got speed. Got to watch him. He also said that he reiterated that wide receiver Tyreek Hill with the ankle injury had no setbacks, and he feels good about Tyreek playing. He was a game-time decision last week and didn't play, probably because it was the Jets. They want him against the Cowboys. Trust me on that. So, again, Devon Achane, who's the running back rookie there, he is good to go. Terran Armstead at tackle with the injuries this week, with the knee and ankle. He's good to go for this game. They got Lester Cotton, who banged himself up here, one of their offensive linemen, but he looks good to go. Full practice today. He's not has any designation. Interesting couple of guys here in the secondary. that I'll touch on a little later. But Deshaun Elliott coming back from the concussion, full practice today, no injury designation, so he is good to go. It's their starting safety. That's a free safety. They need him. And a cornerback that's going to be in the slot. Important here. It's not Eli Apple. Eli Apple's going to be the outside guy if he has to play. But in the slot, Kader Kohu. I talked about him yesterday real quick. He has a hip injury, limited all week, and he is good to go for the game. Raheem Mostert, also full practice. He was getting rest. He's good to go, running back. Durham Smythe, our starting tight end, limited all week, but good to go, fully active. And Andrew Van Ginkel, a linebacker, oblique and nose injury, limited all week, full today. He is good to go. But that's the good to go guys.
A lot of interesting names there on that list.
Who are there's one guy who is out for this game, and his name is Robert Hunt. You might not know who Robert Hunt is, but I'll tell you who he is. He's their starter at the offensive line there. So Robert Hunt, offensive lineman, offensive guard with a hamstring, did not practice all week. He's out for this game. The Dolphins are missing a starting interior guard. Of course, remember, guys, we know Connor Williams is out for the year, so they already have their backup in there. His name is Liam Eichberg with a calf injury, and he's also limited in practice, and he is also questionable. So he's a little banged up, and he's not that good. Their center. He's going to play. Now they got Lester Cotton. I'm sorry, not Lester Cotton, but they got Robert Hunt, who is out for this game, their starting guard. Now they got kind of like two backups in the middle. You guys you guys feeling what I'm trying to feed you guys here? Some of the keys to this matchup. You look at the injury report.
To do with the O-line?
Yeah, just look at that injury report. You can see where to try to attack these motherfuckers. So you got that's the only guy they have out, but they have a shitload of questionables, guys. Elijah Campbell, the knee injury, defensive back. He was limited today. He's questionable for the game. Again, the defensive backs is where they cannot afford to lose people. They're all either coming back or hurt. Like I said, Eichberg, their starting center right now at the calf injury, questionable for the game. He should play. Tyreek Hill, limited the last 2 days. They feel good about him playing this week. He's questionable for the game. I believe he will play this game against the Cowboys. And you got two defensive players which are major for them. Javon Holland with both knees. He was limited all week. He is listed as questionable. I'm going to assume he's going to play, but he's one of the best coverage safety. He is the best coverage safety in the NFL. So Javon Holland, they got one of the best coverage corners in the NFL, Xavier Howard, with the hip issue. Limited the last 2 days, questionable for the game on Sunday. So these guys, even if they play, they may not be 100%. Something to keep note of here. Austin Jackson, another offensive lineman with the oblique, limited in practice today. We did not practice the rest of the week. He is questionable as well. That would make it three guys inside that they would have to maybe either have injuries or have to have backups playing with injuries. They're in trouble inside when it comes to the Miami Dolphins and that interior offensive line spot, those three spots inside. The last two guys that are questionable, Emmanuel Agba, who I'm hearing is not going to play with the hamstring issue, limited all week, questionable for the game, and Cam Smith, another cornerback. There's some depth, but they don't have much. With the hamstring, limited all week, questionable for the game. Again, I'm thinking Tyreek Hill's going to play. Pretty sure about that. So they're going to have their main guys, their main weapons on offense, but their defense, even if they got them out there, it may be still a little bit of an issue for them not being fully healthy. So when you look at this Dolphin game, the Dolphins are getting sliced up. They're getting killed in some places. They're giving up 200, but some places are doing real good, right? So they're top 10 when it comes to pass defense. 203.1 passing yards per game this year is what they've given up on average, and that's 10th best in the NFL. On the defense side of the ball, though, for the Cowboys, we have been top 5 in pretty much all these categories. Passing yards. Passing yards, we're ranked top 5. When it comes to, we also rank 4th best, giving up only 176.9 passing yards per game. We rank 6th on offense, overall offense, with 251 yards passing per game, if you want to add that part of our game in there. So the Cowboys are averaging, on the other side, passing. We got the rushing side, 116.5 rushing yards per game on offense. That's 12th in the NFL. Defensively, we rank 19th with 117.4 rushing yards allowed per game. So we got to keep these Dolphins, Mostert and Achane in check. Cowboys are allowing 5.2 yards per play on the defensive side of the ball, which is top 10. It's 8th best in the NFL. and we're also top 10 on offense, accumulating 5.8 yards per play when it comes to our offense this year. So again, the Cowboys, we got some abilities here, some of the stats going our way when it comes to the Dolphins, but let's go down to some of these. I'm ready to break down some of these matchups, and that's to me one of the bigger deals.
Here.
Yeah, one of the matchups that we got to kind of win. So let's start with our defense versus their offense. All right.
Yeah, we can talk execution until the cows come home, but these are the actual things that we're going to be doing differently, hopefully, based on the things they're giving us.
So we got to not forget I'm going to start off with, like James Cook last week. I'm going to start off with number 31 this week at running back Raheem Mostert. Don't say I didn't warn you guys. I seen this guy. He's been playing since the Niners. You guys, right? This guy is somebody's going to run you over, and it has speed to go all the way. Keep that in mind. He concerns me one of the most on this team. After the humiliation we had taken against the Bills and James Cook, I hope Dan Quinn has had his head out of his ass and fixes whatever needs to be fixed. We get Malik Hooker back. You can now put more guys in the box. You can help stop the run a little bit better than we did last week.
Yeah,
that is the hope.
Have that happen again.
Last week you had an extra guy out of the box, forced at the safety position because we didn't have Malik Hooker. We had to have two safeties. So this week you hopefully have Malik Hooker. It's going to help us add another guy in the box. Going to help us slow down the run. That's a key there. We better not forget about Raheem Mostert and his threat ability this week. He's a speed demon, and if we don't pay attention, he will do a James Cook on us. I'm telling you guys, he will do a James Cook on us. He may be more elusive, and he's definitely faster than James Cook. James Cook is is not the fastest guy when it comes to running backs. Compared to Raheem Mostert, Mostert's much faster. But with a proper plan of attack by the Dolphins, they pulled the San Francisco attack. We talked about, Mike McDaniel, run game coordinator for Kyle Shanahan, who likes to, how they run the ball with the Niners? You might see some of that from Mike McDaniel in this game on offense if they utilize Mostert. And that way it could get even scarier than Cook last week. So head coach Mike McDaniel for the Dolphins knows how to use his weapons. That's one thing that McCarthy gave him big credit for when it comes to Tyreek Hill. How he knows how to make his players, his great players, even better. Yeah, so we don't want that. We don't want to see that happen from Mostert. So we have to start knocking him down early in this game. So if the Dolphins smell blood in the water, they see us giving up 5-6 yards every time, they're going to just keep doing it. They're going to keep pounding it, and we're going to be probably taking a big L in this game. Just saying. So if they're going to try to see any weaknesses in our run game, they're going to use number 31 to do that. So what's the key now for us?
The Dolphins, that's what I would do, no offense.
Dan Quinn there's a couple of things Dan Quinn needs to do, but one of the things I think you have to watch in this game is how linebacker Damone Clark plays. Now, I know we're going to have, that's going to come from Mazy's help. We're going to need that help from Mazy, but how will Damone Clark be able to kind of keep the watchful eye on number 31? Because, again, everybody's watching the way this run, anybody's going to run on us because of what happened last week with Buffalo. So Damone Clark was not solely responsible, of course. Marquise Bell also. There was other guys involved, and I believe Hankins is a big part of that not being there. But when you look at the analytics and the stats of that game with Damone Clark, he had one of the worst games, one of his worst performances in his career last week against Buffalo. So he's got to bounce back, at least get a little bit better than last week, right? In this Week 16 matchup against the Dolphins, when Mostert is one of the biggest parts of their game plan. And their really offensive success, a lot of it is because of Mostert. He's already got, over 1,000 scrimmage yards, Raheem Mostert does. And over 20 touchdowns already, total touchdowns. Remember, he just broke the Miami Dolphin record last week. Their history of any position of how many touchdowns in a season. He had 19, now he has 20. 19 broke the record, by the way. So he has 20 touchdowns, the most in Dolphin history in a season. And again, like I said, over 1,000 scrimmage yards. Remember I said that last week about James Cook and his scrimmage yards? Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. So the Cowboys cannot allow. Simple as this.
There are a lot of similarities, unfortunately.
We need, Marquise Bell and all the other guys and the defensive line. We need the interior. We're going to talk about Mazy. That's a key. But we definitely cannot allow another running back to just stomp us into the ground like James Cook did last week. That cannot happen. It's out of the question. Now,
you said no excuses.
Another guy we got to clamp down on is number 10, obviously the most dynamic player on the field, Tyreek Hill. And again, listen to this, baby. In his career, Tyreek Hill has scored only one touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys. But of course, it's pretty unforgettable. It was with the Chiefs, and it's called the Hail Mary. We did win that game, though. I want to remind Tyreek Hill that. So, look, obviously the player to watch here is Tyreek Hill. He's their most dynamic guy. This goes without saying. He's, right now, the best wide receiver in football. He's about, 400 and change yards away from 2,000 yards receiving? So, he is officially yardage-wise in pretty much every single way, speed-wise and route running-wise. I mean, he's the best wide receiver in football, better than CeeDee Lamb right now, all right? And when he's on the field, he is, again, he's like the red flag on the field. You got to stop it. You got to look for him. He's a danger for defenses. The Cowboys have to be ready every single snap. If Tyreek Hill plays this game, he's questionable. But if he plays, you got to watch him every single play. Everybody knows that. Everybody sees that, even Stevie Wonder. So, again, he obviously can change the game in a split second. He's a front runner right now when it comes to non-quarterback MVPs and candidates right now this year. And Tyreek Hill has a very rare ability. Dan Quinn and this defense has to come up and formulate an accurate plan for this. I don't have the answers. I'm just saying there's a key that we have to slow down or win. We might not win this one. We got to win the other ones, but we might not win this key right here. Now, we need, Stephon Gilmore to show up. Our secondary's got to show up. I'll talk about that in a minute, but a key here can help us a little bit. I don't want to say it's a good thing. Hill's he's not at his best. He's better, than he would have been if he played last week, but he's much better off than he was last week. But he's still not 100%. So he's banged up. He missed the last game for the ankle injury, and no one's expecting him to be missing this game, though.
But like you said, no one's really expecting him to go out there and hopefully be at, like you said, 100%. So
no, but even him at 80 is still better than 90% of those receivers out there. So you got to watch him. He's on the field. You got to watch him. No one's expecting him to be absent for this game, but Tua is going to be looking his way. Number 10. Tua's number one's going to go to 10 as often as possible, early and often against the Cowboys secondary, and we got to be ready to stop him. And how do we do this? The secondary as a whole got to do this. And listen, we talked about this when it comes to Tua. He does fantastic against man defense. Dan Quinn plays man defense about over 48% of the time. That's number one in the NFL. So we have to kind of go away from what we do mostly. And I think that we go in the zone. I noticed something. When he was watching the Tennessee game on film, Tua, he realized that they were showing different looks. That's something that Dan Quinn does very well, disguising the looks and showing different looks, confusing Tua. That's what Dan Quinn needs to fucking do. And I think he needs to use zone defense against this offense, against Tua and these offensive players, which then encapsulates, of course, Waddle and others, but Tyreek Hill, the main target there. Again, didn't missed most of the game in Week 14, missed the whole game Week 15. Going to be back this one. He's, again, a mismatch problem for any of our defensive backs, any of them. I don't care, Bland, Gilmore, whoever, Jordan Lewis. They will all have problems with Tyreek Hill. That's just the way it's going to be. So, how are we going to contain him? He's definitely our priority number one for the secondary. We have to limit, number one, his effectiveness, especially after the catch. I mean, those after the catch yards, killers for us. Waddle, he's got the most after the yard catch. So we got to really watch both these receivers, and our secondary's got to make sure we make the tackles. Last week we missed 12. We got to make the tackles and wrap up. If they make the catch, make the tackle.
Too many missed tackles.
Yeah. So, again, if he's able to take over, he can take over the game by himself, Tyreek Hill, and then it opens it up for everybody else. So, limiting the big plays are going to be a key matchup, a key to victory, a key against stopping the success for Tyreek Hill. Listen to this. Tyreek Hill on targets that have 20 or more yards of air yards. So, not a 5-yard pass and he takes it.
Yeah.
A 20-yard pass in the air and then he catches it or farther. He has 19 catches of those kinds. That's number one in the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a dangerous number.
747 yards off of those 20-yard or farther passes. That's number one in the NFL. And he also has 8 receiving touchdowns, where he's a big play threat. 8 receiving touchdowns. That's first in the NFL. He's number one in the NFL across the board on pretty much every spot at receiver. Any dynamic playmaking, game-breaking stat.
Yeah, you basically don't have one.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, without Tyreek Hill.
Guys, Tyreek Hill. Obviously, Mostert can kill us in another way. Tyreek Hill can kill us at any moment. At any moment. So the Cowboys have listen to this, though. I will say this, and got to give Dan Quinn a little bit of credit. Cowboys have only allowed 357 deep receiving yards.
Okay.
That ranks third best in the NFL. So whatever, and a lot of that, you know what a lot of that has to do with, baby? Why do teams have problems throwing deep on us? A motherfucking pass rush. I'm just saying, this is like 1 + 1 = 2. This is just easy here, guys. I'm serious. It's about our pass rush. If we get a pass rush on any team, they got to throw the ball fast. How many deep passes are going to have?
Not many. Again,
Not many,
we
if
don't
any.
give them time.
Right. And that all, you know where it all starts and ends
Seeing
with.
several comments in the chat, of course, saying kind of the same thing. You know, we got to rush Tua, make sure he doesn't get time to get off some of those big plays to Tyreek Hill.
Remember, Tua's not dangerous. If you blitz or rush Tua, his danger is not he's going to scramble for yards. He has 55 yards rushing all year. He ain't running the ball ever. But when you pressure him, and he's pressured 30% or more, he just turns into a below average quarterback. If he's not pressured 30% or more, if he's pressured under 30%, he's an MVP quarterback.
Yeah, skeptical fans saying, I don't think it really matters who covers Waddle or Tyreek. The Cowboys definitely can't play press coverage against those road runners.
And give Tua different disguised looks. You'll confuse him a little bit. That's the key here. And listen, it starts and ends when it comes to the pressure to helping the defensive backs cover these guys and whatever scheme we use from Quinn. Of course, we got to stop Mostert. That's why I say that's even the bigger key. But if you want to stop any of their dynamic passing, boom, right there, baby, Micah Parsons. And the defense. Listen to this. First and foremost, I want to explain. Our defense is one of the fastest defenses in the NFL against the fastest offense in the NFL. This is now the
so it's probably going to be a bit of a a competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a back and forth, a test of speed. But the big thing for the Cowboys is that we go on grass. We're not as fast. And the Dolphins play on grass. And they play pretty fucking fast. So my point here is, I don't want to hear anybody saying excuses about, but we're on grass. The Dolphins are on grass, and that's why we're slower. Guys, the Dolphins are one of the fastest teams in overall. In offense, yeah, but overall, they're one of the fastest teams in the NFL. If not the fastest. They play on grass. Mainly play on grass fields throughout the season. That is not an excuse that the Cowboys can't beat the Dolphins because we weren't fast enough. I just want to throw that excuse out the window.
How do they manage to be fast and they're playing on grass? Like, cut the bullshit, right?
Now, let me go back to Micah Parsons. Again, you heard Jerry Jones say it himself, right? Saying that, we want Micah as a pressure player. That means an edge rusher. Move him around. To me, it's not just staying on the same side. To me, it's Dan Quinn, move him around. A gap, B gap, C gap, D gap. I don't care. Everywhere, not D gap, but all spots, all over the offensive line, inside and outside, left side, right side. Yes. Sometimes stand him up, sometimes using him as an off-ball linebacker to blitz or pressure. But still use him the way you've been using him at edge. He is an edge. That's his best. That's his most dynamic ability. You would not put him at linebacker so you can nullify his abilities. That'd be stupid. So you do put him there at times, and just not as much as a lot of people want to. So when you look at the way he rushed the other game, he gave a sack for Mazy Smith because of his pass rush, and he also was knocking down. He was just destroying the Bills' tackles. It's just that we couldn't. Again, it's not just Micah; it's got to be everybody else coming with them. When you watch the actual film of Micah Parsons, and shit, I might as well just put up some of the stuff from last year, or his best of. You watch him play, guys, and he does it inside and outside. Micah said this about that footage, about what he did to the Bills. He said, quote, "Laugh out loud, but I'm not a game changer." Watch film, man. I can get better in a lot of ways for sure. Not anywhere close to what I can be. But don't disrespect me. End quote. And he's talking to the content creators that are saying, you need to go back and play more linebacker.
Right.
He is. He's literally kind of like he did this yesterday. He's saying it to the analysts. He's saying it to Brian Baldinger. He's saying, listen. And again, I think you can make a case that maybe some of this is about not getting paid linebacker money. That's a big decrease in pay. But trust me, he should not be getting paid linebacker money. No way.
I agree. Like I said, if the Cowboys try to get cute with Micah and
we're gonna lose
linebacker money, that's because they're trying. Yeah, they're trying to be, cute. Like I said, and then try to undercut the money that he's rightfully earned, not as a linebacker.
Right.
Let's be real.
Right.
His paycheck was not earned playing the Mike
Right.
or the Sam or the Will.
He might have been drafted from college as a linebacker, but he was used from day one as a pressure player.
Yeah, you're the one that brought up the fact that, Jerry had made a comment that was always going to be his purpose, basically.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and Dan Quinn brought it out of him. That's great, but it was about using him at linebacker to attack and blow up the backfield initially, and that became an edge rusher quickly in his rookie year. So look, again, you can use him at linebacker. Sometimes he's fantastic in coverage. One of the best linebackers overall when you look at him at linebacker, and he'd be an upgrade for our linebackers, but it'd be a bigger downgrade if we took him off at edge. So even though I'm saying all of this, and you'll see this in some of the videos, guys, that you're watching right now, a lot of these are outside edge rushes, but watch when he comes from the A-gap, from the inside, from over center, over guard. You'll see it coming soon. This is from 2 years ago. But when I get to it, I'll tell you, that is the key to this game. One of the main keys is Micah or anybody coming from the inside, the A and B gaps, interior, not the C gap off the tackle. I haven't seen it yet. You'll see here, inside, boom, boom. That's the attack you want to see from Micah. That's what we want to see from Micah Parsons this game against the Dolphins. And let me tell you why, guys. It's pretty obvious, pretty simple why. And again, I've been discussing it. Basically, we did it all week. Did it today, even somewhat. We talked about it today, actually. When it comes to the injuries on the offensive line, interior offensive line, not the outside, the interior offensive line of the Dolphins. Listen to this, guys. Listen to the interior of the Dolphins. Eichenberg, when it comes to his ratings, 36th in the NFL at center, with a 46.2 PFF analytical blocking rating. All right, that's their center. Their left guard, Cotton, who's banged up a little bit, a 50 rating. He's ranked 60th out of 77 guards. I'm sorry, Eichenberg is ranked 36 out of 37 guards. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? The interior left is just horrible. And now now they have to bring in another guy out there. I mean, right now Jones would be the guy, but he's out for this game, I'm pretty sure. 55.7 is his blocking ability there this year analytically. He's not even rated as a right guard right now. Like, he's not even in the ratings right there. You have Jackson, number 73, at the right tackle spot. He's got a 67, and that's their blindside guy. 67 rating right now. He's 38th out of 83 right or overall tackles in the game. And you look at the left side blocking, Terron Armstead, who's back. He's going to play. That is their best guy. Their left tackle, who, by the way, it's not the blind side for Tua. It's the right tackle. So the right tackle has a little more. He's about what? About 12 points less in rating and analytical rating and blocking than the left side, Armstead. So Armstead ranks 10th in the NFL at left tackle, 80 out of 83 guys at tackle. So the left side is going to be tough. You send Micah in on the Dolphins' right side, and you send Micah in up the fucking middle. Center, guards, attack them. In the middle. This is the key. You guys wonder what the key is? That's the key. By the way, if you want to have when you do rush Micah from the outside, even if they chip block him, their tight end, Smythe, number 81, he's only got a 50.4 rating in blocking. 60th.
So you think that Micah will be winning that matchup?
I mean, I think double teaming him with the tight end would be great for us. That's fine. We're slowing them down even more, the Dolphins. And Micah's probably, has more than just two eyes on him or two sets of eyes.
Everything you're saying just sounds like how to make other guys' lives easier. Because
that's all Micah does.
Micah's doing all that. Everybody else gets the opportunity to shine.
Yeah, and so Smythe at tight end, chip blocking, he can't even do that too well. And all their offensive line, basically interior, is disaster. It's disaster against the pass. The Cowboys need to attack the interior three, the center and both guards. Osa, you're going to run some Micah in the middle. That's what I'm talking about. You get some stuff on the outside, you want to attack in the middle, and then all the outside guys got to do, like the Marcus Lawrence, number 90, if you had Sam Williams out there, hopefully he's more disciplined. You got Fowler or Armstrong. They just got to set the edges and contain Tua in the pass. You contain them on the outside and bring in the pressure on the inside where they will break. We will keep way over 30% pressure on Tua this game. And that means he will have a bad game. You guys feel me? So stop the run and then slow down Tua, or slow down the run, but also slow down Tua using this method of interior pressure. Hey, and that's the best way of beating this team. And now I'm going to hand off the mic to you, baby, because I know you got the interview, the inside info on the guy who I think, the last guy on this on our defense that I think we could look at some key matchups that we need to win, and this will be the best week for our first round pick rookie, Mazy Smith, to show up.
I sincerely fucking hope so.
The Cowboys have a lot of confidence in him. And you know who else has a lot of confidence in him and has been showing him the ropes? A vet who's not playing this game. This guy, Jonathan Hankins. Jonathan Hankins went into a deep discussion, a deep dive on how he believes Mazy Smith is going to be doing and how he's kind of taking this, game by game and getting better. Remember, guys, Mazy's going to, I said this yesterday, Mazy Smith's going to have his best chance to show something to the Cowboy fan base in this game. In this fucking game against the Dolphins, because they are weak inside. Yes, Alonda, I said it. You guys are weak up your gut, up the middle. You guys are very weak. And and Mazy gonna get some deep penetration up the middle. That's gonna be a key to us stopping the run. Even if he don't do it, it'll make our linebackers an easier job to do it, and putting pressure inside on Tua. Contain him from getting out the pocket. We got ourselves a winning formula. It's up to Mazy to help us. What did Jonathan Hankins, yes, the guy Mazy's replacing this game, Hankins is out for at least one more. What did Hankins say about our rookie who's going to be starting this game, number 58, Mazy Smith? What did Mr. Hank, Big Hank, have to say?
He's been open to learning and understanding the way I play the game to help out his play. Honestly, I think he's been doing great, an amazing job. Obviously, it'd be nice for him to make a few more plays and more splash plays. But like I told him, the plays will come. Just continue to work, get better. Don't really worry about the outside talk. Let's just focus on winning games and getting our job done. When you get first-round guys at those positions, you'd like to see them splash out and do the same things that they were doing in college. To me, I don't think that's realistic, especially for me first getting into the league.
See?
I wasn't at this level I'm at now. All in all, you got to learn the game, and it'll get better. Everything else will just fall into place.
He's saying exactly
so
what
he's just kind of reminding everybody,
yeah.
You do not go into the NFL as a first-round, defensive lineman, even as a first-round defensive lineman, and somehow just go in there and start playing the way that a guy with a few years' experience, a few years of weight training in the NFL, that shit will come with time, because that's the only way to get that experience.
Yeah, you got to remember something here, guys. What Hankins is saying is the same thing that we've been saying here for years. When you draft a guy inside with the first, second, third round, whatever round, usually, unless he's a Aaron Donald type guy, and Mazy's not that. He's not there for the stats and production. He's there to help out.
You're basically
he's there to be a Hankins, and Hankins started off like Mazy.
Exactly. You're basically accepting the fact that, yes, I understand I'm investing a high level of draft collateral there, but this will pay off in the future, right? We're making future investments here with that first round pick. So let me finish hearing what Hankins had to say, because I just wanted to touch on some of those comments there that he had made.
Yeah,
but
it's great stuff from Hankins about
he
Mazy.
added on in there. That's one thing that I preach to. He's quick when he wants to be quick. He's definitely one of the strongest guys out there and powerful. He's starting to understand the game a little bit more, and with him, it's just going to take some time. As he gets more snaps and time to play, I think it'll come a lot more natural for him.
I want to say something about that, because the quickness is the stuff that I talk about when it comes to Mazy's detriment. He is never when he's quick off the ball, you see him. He can do shit that a lot of guys that are elite can do. But unfortunately, he does that maybe 30% of the time. About 60, 70% of the time, he's slow off the snap.
Yeah, we need to see a little bit more of the consistency.
He needs that get up. He needs that get up to go fast. If he can get a little rolling that way, he can be a real force inside. And Hankins sees it, we see it. But even Hankins is saying, you got to be quicker off the snap. And when he is, if it's about a want, damn, then we got to see more dedication from Mazy.
Hankins added in there. That's one thing that I preach to Mazy. If you can get off the ball before they can get off the ball, or you engage on them before they can do anything, that's a damn play. It may sound simple, but it's definitely tough to do every single play. Just not think so much. Just go out there and play. Just don't worry about what you're getting. Just attack, run through a wall, and rip somebody's head off. Do that, everything else will take care of itself.
And again, basically, repeating exactly what he's saying. Listen, get off the ball quick. You engage them. Before you can do anything, you're making a play. You're doing your job. You're helping your linebackers. And you're helping this team stop the run. The thing is, it's tough to do when you're a rookie, is doing it every single play consistently. And that's why we always say you got to wait a year and a half or so before these guys really start hitting their stride. When you draft a defensive lineman, specifically interior defensive tackle lineman, who it's all about how you technique and the way you use and your leverage and your weight. So again, all that stuff is major. So listen, again, let me reiterate, Mazy Smith is going to get a start here inside, or one of our guys. And even though it's a little early, this is his best chance to show out against a broken interior, not a whole entire offensive line broken, but an interior beat up and backup offensive line that's not good in pass blocking. So this is where Mazy got to show out. Not good at blocking, run or pass. This is where he needs to really show out. His best game of the year will be coming this game, I think, in my opinion. By the way, I gotta give a shout out here, even though he's an MCFer. He's Eastside Harold. He dropped the $3 holler in the Cash App. He said, for another road win for the Cowboys coming. Go Cowboys.
That's what I thought he would say,
yeah,
right?
Of course. He said, he dropped the Brandon Cooks $3 holler. So, after I talking about this defensive side, any quick comments on what I said from our defense and the keys I mentioned here against their offense? Because now I'm going to switch it over to our offense to their defense. Give you the keys to victory.
Seabass saying, if he was quicker, bigger, faster, oh my God, the compliment that he would give Micah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And he would, that's the goal. We're trying to getting him to be Hankins plus in the future.
Damn, Cowboy Nation, Danny, hopefully you're feeling better. The Rona is definitely out in full force this holiday season.
It's giving.
Along with every other freaking germ, right? Jeff Coughlin said, I just want to hear Mazy's name once during the game. That would be nice. So, and you know what?
Well, he got a sack last game.
Yeah, you heard his name once.
Created by Micah Parsons, though, but yes, we'll take that.
So, Alonda Haslu saying that Mazy's going to run into a brick wall.
What was his name going to be? Because your interior, hey, Miss Hanslu there, your interior is a little weak.
Now, Seabass is saying, Jerry already told us we have the players on this team to make the necessary adjustments. And I believe him, because McCarthy has made weekly adjustments.
I think also Dan Quinn has adjusted with what he has to do with limited kind of, I'm gonna say limited backups and limited people when it comes to some of the things maybe that Dan Quinn would like to do more. He got his Hankins guy, he got Mazy, but we know he wanted Darius Leonard, and the Cowboys didn't really push for that. So, Dan Quinn will always get his guys, unfortunately for him, but he's got to make do with who he has. McCarthy's done a great job in adjusting after the bye week. We've talked about it. Great points there, of course. Seabass, the man, over everything.
Let me see. GM said, I'm sure the game plan is slow down Tua, because if he's doing it fast, that's their style.
Yeah, they run with Mostert, and they're going to throw with Tua, and if he's pressured, he's going to do bad. If he's pressured over 30% of a game, if he's pressured under 30%, he does very well.
Retro Scotty also adding in there, the defense needs to play disciplined fundamentals. No penalties. Same with special teams as well.
Yeah.
Offense needs to score with a sense of urgency.
Yeah, and let's go to the offense now, since it's our offense versus this Dolphin D. And there's some major guys we got to watch for. A lot of banged up guys in their secondary as well. So let's start off with, we talked about already both these sides of things earlier in the week, but let's talk about the keys to must-win keys for victory here. And Terrence Steele, guys, is worrying me a little bit. And now you've got to add Chuma Edoga on the other side versus number 2 on your screen, Bradley Chubb. He was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week this week. He recorded a team-high 7 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, leads the NFL on that. 1 fumble recovery, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hits. But who do they play? The New York Football Jets. So again, that explains why he did have such a great game. This was by far his best performance of the year, and in what is looking like it's going to be maybe a career year for Bradley Chubb. So we got to watch Mr. Chubb here. He will wreak havoc. I know they got other guys there, Christian Wilkins and Settler, a couple other, but these guys are more like role players too. Although Wilkins is fantastic, but Bradley Chubb's the guy who's kind of going to attack there first. He's going to be the guy, all eyes on him kind of deal, especially at the edges, where we have literally Terrence Steele is having a down year, and we're having a backup at Tyron Smith's spot, it looks like. So that worries me a lot. With him having such a good year so far, the struggles of Terrence Steele on the right side have been covered heavily. We've seen it. We talked about it. He's done better, but he's still not great. Not where he really should be, in my opinion. And this is going to be testing him this game. Terrence Steele, when going up against Bradley Chubb, will be tested, guys. He can look forward to seeing Bradley Chubb lined up against him with another pass rusher who come in there and actually been doing a good job since Jalen Phillips has been out, and he was their leading sack guy. Andrew Van Ginkel dropping back in there dropping to the defensive, going up to the defensive line.
Can I just throw out there the fact that it seems like the Dolphins have some of the most silly, names. Goofy, interesting sounding names.
Van Ginkel.
That's what I'm saying. Out of all the teams we've talked about, it's like one thing for a team to have one guy, maybe two, but even when you mention some names that no one but a hardcore fan would know about their, deeper players and stuff, I'm sitting here cracking up.
Listen, you have just these names are going to affect their defensive line. Bradley Chubb, all right? Andrew Van Ginkel. Mm-hmm. Both these guys are going to be looking at Chuma Edoga and Terrence Steele. Keys, right off the bat. We want to be successful on offense. We better fucking fix that shit. Or get that. At least we cannot have constant pressure on Dak or we're in trouble in this game. And then when you look at the interior, which is Christian Wilkins, a very good player. Zach Seiler, who had a touchdown 2 weeks ago, a pick six. He's a Hankins. A pick six, and then he had a fumble recovery on the 1 yard line, almost got a touchdown, almost back-to-back weeks. He's trying to be Jaron Bland or something. These two guys inside are going to be, on islands if we got to give help to the outside. So that they're going to present problems as well. So we have to be very on top of shit for our offensive line with the injury to Tyron Smith. We should have having Zach Martin back, but we got to also, the bigger issue is not the interior. It becomes a bigger issue if we break down the outside. Kind of the flip of what we talked about. We got to do to them, pressuring inside, let the outside do its thing. So they're going to have the pressure coming from the outside. And I said, hey, that's why I flip it, because the inside then going to do their thing. They got some solid guys inside as well on that defensive line. So Terrence Steele, Chuma Edoga, very important, dangerous keys. We could lose this one. It could slow us down on offense. Now I will say again, let me reiterate, Terrence Steele did a nice job in pass blocking last week. But this week, he's going up against a different type of player in Bradley Chubb, who currently has 9.5 sacks. He's in the top 10 for sacks in the league. He has 9 tackles for loss this year. Terrence Steele has to bring his A game. Chuma Edoga has to bring his best game on Sunday, or it's going to be a rough time for our offense. People are going to yell, well, Dak sucks. Well, get the outside guys blocked. Mm-hmm. And maybe Dak won't suck as much as you think he is. So just pretty simple there, guys. And again, I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Now, what can the Cowboys do if we get a little bit of time? We know we got to run the ball, and we're not going to focus on the run against this team too much. They're pretty solid on the run as well. We got to run, but we'll run McCarthy style. It's not going to be weather issues, so it's not. I don't think the running game is going to be as key, but I do think tight end with Jake Ferguson is key. Ferg is the word. The linebackers, I've talked about the linebackers. They replaced Jones. He was out. He's out for the year. They had some. They have to replace guys the guys they have in there at linebacker right now. Chris Long, they cannot tackle. They miss tackles, most of them. Our linebackers do better tackling, and we have more tackles than them. We have less missed tackles and more tackles than both of their linebackers. So, and our linebackers are quote unquote struggling sometimes. So that means they really don't have much. That's their weak spot, is the linebackers position. And we get into that second level. If we get through that tough defensive line, we get to that second level, we can do a little more damage there and really open up stuff on the ground. But now I stress Jake Ferguson. In coverage, guys, we should be toasting these guys from Dak's hand to Ferguson's hands. And you want to throw in the safeties in there as well? Because they're going to have their safeties back. Well, how do we do? Because they sometimes come down there like Jaron Kearse and covers the tight end. So they might try to use a safety to try to, slow down the quarterback to tight end, Dak to Ferguson connection. So the Dolphins safeties are coming into this game injured. Now, they both may play, but they're coming off banged up injuries. And that's a point of emphasis to me. If they're a little banged up and they're ready, I'm going to break down some stats against tight ends that they fail at. And you got to take advantage of this if you're the Cowboys. You got to do it. So, again, we got to exploit that weakness with safety coverage at tight end using Jake Ferguson. Now, starting safeties is Javon Holland, the best coverage guy in the league at safety. And Deshaun Elliott, who got back, now he's back from that concussion. These are the two guys that are going to be out there. If they're not out there, for whatever reason, you attack the backups, they suck. If they are out there, you can still attack them, guys. At the linebackers, you can also attack them at the safeties. Now, Holland, who again, when he's 100%, Javon Holland's the best coverage guy in the league at safety. But he's been dealing with MCL injuries all year in both of his knees.
Unfortunate.
So he's still trying. He should be playing. He's still questionable. But he's still, even if he plays, he's looking to knock some rust off. You can still attack him right now, not being 100%. And Deshaun Elliott, who's very good back there as a free safety, but if he can run down there and play the tight ends. If he goes against tight ends, if you put him on Ferguson, Deshaun Elliott, off of the concussion, he can be taken down in the passing game. You know how much he gives? He gives up a quarterback passer rating of 134.4. That's like almost perfect. You throw a tight end against Deshaun Elliott, and you're gonna probably win that and big. So even though he's a good safety, he's not great against tight ends. Ferguson time. You guys feeling me here? I know it's not that fun. It's not going deep to your tight end, to your wide receiver down the field, but this is a very important key and a matchup that we got to win, I think, in this game. If we utilize it, we win. That we have a better chance to win. Let me put it that way. So, again, he gives up a quarterback rating of 134.4. He gives up 11.8 yards per catch against tight ends. That's 12 yards of fucking... You shoot a tight end, again, you see Deshaun Elliott in coverage, attack it. And he gives up a completion percentage of 68% when you throw against him. So, again, not very good across the board for Deshaun Elliott versus tight ends. And that is a matchup that we're going to have to win. When you use Ferguson's speed and his physical style, athletic style of play, that is the advantage you can take over one of the weaker areas of the defensive secondary for the Dolphins. Safeties are great. Run support with them is fantastic. Deep support is great as well. Tight end coverage, helping the linebackers, that's their weakness. That's their weak spot. That's their weakness, guys. I don't know. I hope everyone's understanding what I'm saying, because these are keys that the Cowboys should be working on right now. Last week, they should have been working on these things. So to me, guys, if we do these things and work Ferguson heavily into the mix, he will be a reliable, chain-moving, first-down target for the Cowboys. I don't want him down the field 30 yards.
Yeah.
We don't need him doing that. We got other guys doing that. But Ferguson, chain-moving, tight end, reliable, takes pressure off the rest of the team on offense. You guys feel me on this? So Ferguson, hey, man, if we keep moving the chain, getting first downs, and maybe getting some points off of Ferguson, the kind of led, inspired, focused stuff, you're taking pressure off the defense too, our defense. Because now they can rest a little bit more. And you work their defense a lot more, right? So, again, that is to me one of those low-key things people are not talking about too much. That's why I use Ferguson. The last topic, the last key matchup that we must win is, to me, I said that for last because I think this is the most important. Listen, when you asked, when today or yesterday, Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, was asked about whether or not Jalen Ramsey, number 5, will shadow more, like shadow a player like CeeDee Lamb this entire week, he was clear, and I said this last night, he was clear that the only reason that Ramsey shadowed a receiver last week in Garrett Wilson with the Jets, the only reason was because they didn't have Xavier Howard on the field. He was out last game. So that's why they used Ramsey to follow and shadow their best receiver. A lot of people are saying that's a problem for Jalen Ramsey. If he has to cover a guy in the slot and outside and back and forth, he's not the best out. He's great, but he's not the best when he's got to move around with the guy. Now, he still will make plays. But now what they're going to do when they get Xavier, again, he's questionable, Xavier Howard. But if Xavier Howard plays on the other side and Ramsey's on the other side, they don't have to follow CeeDee Lamb all over the place. They're able to hide coverages better this way, the Dolphins. If you move Ramsey around, it's gonna help the Cowboys out. So if they keep Ramsey on one side and keep Xavier Howard, if he plays on the other side, and he's supposed to play this game, that will keep Vic Fangio's defense more disguised, which is dangerous. So it's actually, we want to see Ramsey following CeeDee Lamb around. We don't want to see them not being that kind of takes away one of their advantages if he's forced if Fangio is forced to have Ramsey follow CeeDee Lamb around the whole game. So, again, when you can hide coverages, you can hide assignments on the defensive coverage side, you can pass off receivers and players to other guys, you can see the field better, anticipate better, trade off man coverage. These are the things that Vic Fangio is going to do by keeping Ramsey on just one side. That's why the matchup I'm talking about at receiver is not about CeeDee Lamb versus number 5. The matchup I'm talking about, and I'll put CeeDee Lamb up there for you, because he's number 1 in the NFL the last 3 years at what position at receiver? What position on the field is he the best at in the last 3 years?
In the slot, right?
That dirty, juicy slot.
So, and a big chunk of that does have to do, even going back to, the Amari Cooper days where he was basically our third receiver and we used him a lot in the slot, just naturally, right? So, just throwing that out. No, I'm just saying, that's where he kind of got his first little sparkle and shine, moment. And it's just been trending that way ever since, at least to me. So
we definitely when those guys were in there, CeeDee Lamb he was right from the start, hitting the ground running, a slot master. Now he is the slot king. And let me just say this: we will use him in the slot, and if they don't move around Jalen Ramsey, you attack with CeeDee Lamb in that sense. So that's why when you guys asked me earlier, what was the question? Way back earlier. I don't know if you remember. I think it was a drop. About which receiver you think is going to go off, or which
Oh yeah, I think it was just a general comment about how CeeDee Lamb was going to do.
That's what I mean. I don't think it's about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb in the slot without Ramsey in coverage, I think that's going to be something we're going to have an advantage with. I think if it is, we don't use Michael Gallup in the slot too often, but if you got someone named Brandon Cooks in the slot, I think Cook's going to have a bigger game than CeeDee Lamb. So let me say it this way, guys. Their starting nickel corner is a guy who's kind of questionable. I think he's good for the game, or questionable. His name is Kader Kohou. 2 Ks. Kader Kohou.
Okay.
So he's going to be the nickel corner, covering whether if they're not following CD around, he's going to be on CD in the slot.
Okay.
And if CD's on the outside, Brandon Cooks are going to be in the slot, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, when you got to look at this, it's not about which receiver is going to dominate. It's who's in the slot so we can dominate. Let me explain. The cornerbacks on the outside for the Dolphins are extremely rough, tough, maybe the most difficult matchup in the NFL, even more tough than us. But I'd say we'd run with them if we had Trayvon Diggs. If we had all 3 guys, we'd have the top 3 guys. But they don't have the top 3rd guy there. They have the top 2 guys on the outside, but not that nickel. So, you got Jalen Ramsey, number 5, of course, dominator out there on one side of the field. Xavier Howard, he's going to be the other corner on the other side of the field. They're big, physical corners that will give every single Cowboy receiver, including CeeDee Lamb, problems on the outside. So we're going to have to counter. How do we counter here? Well, simple. It's not that hard. 11 personnel time. 1 receiver, 1 running back, and 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 receivers. That's 11 personnel. We have to probably do a lot of that, some motion. You know what I always like to talk about, but let's get into it. We're going to need to look at attacking the slot receiver spot and whoever is in coverage there. And who's in there? Slot cornerback Kader Kohou, who, again, is currently allowing 83% completion when you throw against him. 83% of the time you're going to complete a pass against the slot coverage guy, nickel cornerback.
Yeah, so maybe
Kader
just
Kohou.
Take the chance pretty much every time.
He allows a passer rating of 127.5 for opposing quarterbacks. He allowed 7 touchdowns so far this year just on himself in the slot. And again, guys, the possibility of Jalen Ramsey following CD around the field is real. So if you have CeeDee Lamb in the slot against Jalen Ramsey, it's not going to be the same. You don't attack the slot necessarily there unless CeeDee Lamb wins that battle, which is going to be a tough battle all day. But when you maybe purposely move CeeDee Lamb to the outside so you can move in Brandon Cooks into the slot. And why do I say that? Because to me, if you have Ramsey, whether it is coverage if Ramsey follows CeeDee Lamb to the slot, Brandon Cooks on the outside. You attack the outside. You attack where this guy is going to be, Kader Kohou. All right. If Ramsey stays on the outside with Xavier Howard, Caden Kohu is going to be in the slot, in the nickel cornerback spot the entire game. So whoever's in there, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, whoever, Tolbert, you attack the slot. And I think one of those guys could be actually, a little bit of Ferguson sometimes in the slot there. So he's the guy you want to go after. And Brandon Cooks, I think, will be the guy who will be maybe, if they follow CeeDee Lamb with Ramsey, Cooks is going to be the guy you're going to see probably mostly in the slot. So the biggest issue is going to be, that's going to be given to nickel cornerback Caden Kohu, is going to be the speed that Brandon Cooks is going to bring to the table. And of course CeeDee Lamb, but it's more about Brandon Cooks' speed and twitch. That is where, it's going to really hurt them in coverage for Caden Kohu. So Cater Kohu. So to me, when you have Cooks against them, you take advantage of that matchup. The Cowboys could, again, when you have the route ability that Brandon Cooks has and the speed he's going to have the advantage over Kohu, it's going to give him major problems. And that's where we need to, I think, look at. I think Dak needs to look at that spot. I think McCarthy has to plan for that this week to specifically create plays to attack Cater Kohu, to attack the slot nickel cornerback position. Mm-hmm. Unless it's, again, Ramsey versus CD, because he's following him around all day, which the word is he's not going to follow him around all day. So, again, the Cowboys will have in the slot, what we will get from whoever's in the slot, Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, whoever, will be a receiver. We'll have it with Cooks. Will be a reliable receiver, a reliably quick receiver that we can hit with quick passes. I said about moving the chains earlier with Ferguson. You can move the chains in the slot with Brandon Cooks, and also pick up some yak. It'd be nice to see some yards after catch from Brandon Cooks, because with this guy Kohu, he will not also be able to make those stops in the yards after catch as often as they would like to see him. So again, outside of, Jake Ferguson and Brandon Cooks could be the X factors for our Cowboys this week if the blocking goes well. And again, we attack the slot. That is where I think the Cowboys will have to, can win this game. And these are matchups that if we win we win the game. And, the biggest thing comes from that, which we already talked about, is just the offensive line has to be able to block, pass protect enough. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be enough to allow Dak to find these targets that are waiting to be found. That's all. And McCarthy had to plan for it. We're going to have Cooks and Ferguson open there. CeeDee Lamb as well. Attack and kill this defense. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, so by the way, Skeptical fan, take it easy. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. Let me remind everyone here, for a second, to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Of course, hop into our Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. Let me see. And of course, extra special shout out to the people making MCF happen this week, like Skeptical Fan, who's the sponsor of the week, and the membership gifting king. Yes, much love the skeptical one, who, by the way, is trying to go back to back like our 90s Cowboys, because he is currently leading the membership board this week as well. I think he dropped one today. Yep, he got up to 8 now. He got the Aikman 8. Up there in gifted memberships for the week, and he's in first place currently on that side of things. And of course, don't forget, the king of the Cash App, Mr. Stanley Smith. Thank you, Stanley, of course. Appreciate you. By the way, I believe he's going back to back. Like our 90s Cowboys, and 3 out of 5 weeks of domination for Stanley Smith. He did drop some love. He is in the running now. But he's not in first place this week, baby. It is still, and barely, but it's still Mr. Jason Renfro, who's right now corralling, got a little bit of a lead in that top spot over a lot of people. Snug X, Gloria, Big D, Mr. Stanley. So a lot of people got, right behind Jason Renfro, but Jason Renfro is currently winning this battle. Now, another little battle here. Again, you see Retro Scotty with 96 Neville Gallimore points on the Stream Boss. But that was just owned by Zach Luna. And Zach Luna still has the overall lead on this leaderboard, trying to take that sponsor of the week from Skeptical Fan, who is second place, by the way, on the overall board, trying to go back to back. So the battle continues. It ensues tomorrow here on a weekend edition here. I guess not a pre, but it'd be a
a Christmas Eve special, I guess.
Yes.
So, again, Christmas Eve is, of course, the Cowboy game. So, we're almost here, guys. It's right around the corner. Shout out to everybody as well who has dropped the love from above tonight, whether in the After Dark sessions or pre-stream sessions or in session here. But much love to Smokey, the Cash App, Gloria with the PayPal, Big D with the thanks, Skeptical Fan with the gifted membership. I just went through all the different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Smith with the Cash Apps, Jason Renford with the Cash App, Alanda Hanslu, who is, of course, repping the Dolphins. Retro Scotty in the house, who's our stream boss. Dwayne Broussard with the Dak drop in East Side. Harold also in the Cash App saying Go Cowboys. And that is the breakdown of you guys, of the dropping the love from above and who's got the leads and the boards and all that good stuff. And it also is the final breakdown of the must-win matchups for our Cowboys versus the Dolphins this weekend. Tomorrow we'll do some bold predictions, some more kind of like last things to look for as we do a little quick preview, probably a quick stream tomorrow on our matchup, our battle against the Dolphins on Christmas Eve on Sunday. So I'm ready. I'm excited. And we can go over some of these things, a little more talking session maybe tomorrow, in the sense of we can go over some of your guys' thoughts or concerns about the way that the playoffs kind of sit for us, right? Well, the way that we have to, if we lose the Dolphins, we're screwed. No, it really makes no difference, really, for us. It actually makes no difference as long as we beat the Lions in Washington. It makes no difference if we lose to the Dolphins. If we beat the Dolphins, we can slip up a game against the Lions and still go out there, and as long as we beat Washington, still doesn't hurt us at all. If we, what I'm saying, if we do 2 wins, and as long as one of those, as long as we beat Washington is one of those wins, we control our destiny if the Eagles blow a game, any of their games.
I can't wait till that post game Monday, Alonda. Neither can we.
Damn right. It's gonna be
interesting.
interesting.
Throwing out there, gotta know how to play chess in order to be a damn good coach. Good job, MCF.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. We try our best here. See the ins and outs, the good, bad, and ugly, on everything on both sides, on our side of our team, just so we can get a good look at what we need to improve on and how we can take advantage of the other team's, deficiencies.
Yeah, and Danny in the house, like I said, hopefully you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
That's
Jeff Coughlin said, Gallup and Tolbert with a splash of Turpin is what we need to do.
I think that Gallup on the outside is the bigger issue. If you have Xavier Howard or Ramsey, you're not going to attack with Gallup, guys. But yeah, Turpin in the slot. Tolbert, if he gets in the slot there, on the outside, Tolbert ain't going to do anything. So to me, CeeDee Lamb on the outside is your best bet. And then the inside, any of these guys, Cooks, Turpin, Gallup don't really play in the slot. Sometimes you'll see Ferguson playing a little slot-ish kind of play. He's athletic enough. If he's matched up against the cornerback in the slot, you could take advantage of that as well. So those are the best ways. Better, I think Gallup is the odd man out again this week. It's mainly not because of his play, but he's not getting good separation against anyone. But the bigger deal to me is not his play or separation. The bigger deal is the fact that you got Xavier Howard or Jalen Ramsey on you. That takes you out of the play. If you're Michael Gallup.
So, let me kind of keep rolling here with some of the comments.
Well, these are the comments and shoutouts.
Yes, of course. Combination, the combo, the wham bam. So, no, just because there's a bit of a back and forth discussion, and you already kind of touched on some of the points that are being brought up or asked here in these comments. So, Skeptical Fan, of course, always staying skeptical. Jeff Coughlin. Let's see. Justin D. in the place to be. Let's see. Bass, much love, as always.
Yeah.
We have. Let me see. GM, what's up? Asmodeus, much love to you. Just kind of rolling back here. You see Bruce got the toxic juice in the house. Retro Scotty, take it easy. But yeah, I mean, that's as far back as I can go, at least on my side. What's up, Snug X? Much love. Not sure about the MCF After Dark.
Yeah, if it happens, it'll be very after dark. If it happens, and it probably wouldn't happen for too long. But hey, we were partying on other streams last night, Snug. You could have caught us out there. I think we were on Wires Lights. What was it Wire Light Soft Games or Wire Soft Light Game? I don't know. Wires channel, Motors channel, Dave's channel, Moss's channel. I was on all of them, kind of hanging out for a little bit here and there, and we had a little bit of some drinking fun there with Gloria and Big D and Smokey. They were all helping out, getting me a couple shots in there and making me feel a little bit woozy last night. But hey, I rebounded fine. And again, I might be around today if there's anybody live, and if not, I might be around. You know, you never know. You might see me out there in an hour or two after dark.
So, with that said, guys, again, extra special shout out to the sponsor of the week and the membership gifting king, Skeptical Fan. Up above, Retro Scotty, the stream boss, with 96 points. Tip of the hat to Stanley Smith, the Cash App King, back to back.
Tip of the crown, right?
Tip of the crown, yeah.
And the leads, well, right now, again, Retro got that side of things there, but you got Skeptical Fan. He is currently leading the membership gifting board, so he's trying to go back to back there. He's currently in second place on the overall board because Zach Luna is leading that one, trying to get that sponsor of the week crown. And then speaking of the crown, the Cash App crowns, you know, Stanley Smith in the running, a lot of people in the running, but the person in the lead, Jason Renfro. Shout out everybody on my side already, baby. Tell everybody why we do this here, My Cowboys Family, on the nightly. You know, fantastic Fan Friday.
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly here in MCF, we always rep that star over everything. And of course, 6 years plus here on this little corner of YouTube, right here on this channel, right here in My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all, truly thank you for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Cannot do this without interaction from you guys. Also, much, much love for those that drop that love from above and go up all over this channel. You guys are the sponsors of this channel when you drop some love this way. Appreciate every single one of you guys. On that note, it is time to clock out, drop out of here for the night, relock and reload for our Saturday preview show, a Christmas Eve special show, I guess you could say, a shorty tomorrow, a quickie. But nonetheless, we'll try to be out here and definitely give you a quick last-second preview of elevations. We're going to have some elevations from our practice squad, I'm assuming. We're going to have some injury, updates or upgrades or whatever. Maybe Tyron Smith goes from doubtful to questionable tomorrow. We don't know. Or maybe he goes doubtful out. We don't know. But we'll lock you in and load you in with everything you need to know tomorrow with a couple extra little tidbits of, prediction. Not prediction, but some thoughts about the game and a good preview about what we expect to see on Sunday, Christmas Eve against the Dolphins.
Yeah. Jason Renfro, much love.
Hey, in the
Shout
house.
out to you as well, of course. I got you.
Yes. He's in the house. And like I said, he is currently just by pennies leading that Cash App side. Anyways, thank you all again for rocking with us here. We'll be back tomorrow for more. But, baby, officially, before we can drop out of here for the night, tell everybody what we got to do before we drop on the hell out.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped. It's a wrap right here on MCF, My Cowboys Family, with MCW, My Cowboys Wife. And we appreciate every single one of you guys being here with us for tonight's show, episode, discussion, the news, info, and updates of our Dallas Cowboys. It is officially a wrap right here on MCF for another Cowboys chat. Oh, yeah. Even CD's pointing to it. So, guys, thank you. I hope we really cleared up all the important matchups, the important ones. And to me, they're must-win matchups for our Cowboys to come out of this game successful with that dub. That's what we want. To win, no injuries, stop the damn penalties. We discussed that for like half the week already. We know we got to slow that down. And so much more that we discussed here. Check it out. If you haven't yet, watch the replay. Let us know what you think in your comments down below. And right here in MCF, remember, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here on this channel. The number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. Have a great night. Stay safe in this weekend. We'll see you back here tomorrow for some more. Hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Of course, remember that we, going live on the nightly, so make sure you follow us on X and Twitter, at My Cowboys Family and beyond. And guys, on top of all that, staying safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, and never ever forget, go Cowboys!